Hello everyone, I'm here. Today's video is about the Black-Eyed Children. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe and leave a comment. Let's jump into it. On a warm summer night in the late 1990s, Brian Bethel, a journalist from Abilene, Texas, was sitting quietly in his car in front of a movie theater. He had stopped to write a check to pay some bills before going inside. The parking lot was dimly lit, and the glow of the theater sign flickered in the background. Brian was lost in his thoughts when he suddenly noticed movement outside his window. Two young boys, no older than 12, stood by his car. They were dressed oddly, wearing outdated clothing that seemed like it belonged to another decade. At first, Brian felt a strange sense of unease. Something about them didn't feel right. One of the boys stepped forward, smiling faintly, and tapped on the window. Brian rolled it down just a crack, enough to hear their voices. "Sir, could you give us a ride?" the boy asked politely. "We want to see the movie, but we left our money at home. If you drive us, we can get it from our parents." His tone was calm, almost rehearsed, like he was reading from a script. Brian's instincts screamed at him that something was terribly wrong. Why would two children be wandering alone at night, asking a stranger for a ride? He hesitated, trying to think of an excuse, but before he could answer, the second boy spoke. His voice was flat, emotionless. "We don't live far. You can trust us." The way he said it made Brian's skin crawl. He noticed that, despite their polite words, the boys were slowly moving closer to his car, as though trying to surround him. Then it happened. Brian's eyes met theirs, and his blood ran cold. Their eyes were completely black. No whites, no pupils, no iris, just empty, endless darkness. A wave of fear washed over him so strong that his hands began to shake. The first boy leaned closer to the window and whispered, "Let us in. We can't come in unless you let us." The words were soft, almost hypnotic, as if they carried a hidden command. For a split second, Brian felt his hand moving toward the door lock, as though he was losing control of his own body. But suddenly, a surge of terror snapped him out of it. He yanked his hand back and shook his head. "No," he muttered, his voice trembling. The boy's smile vanished. Both children's expressions grew dark and cold. Their voices, once polite, turned sharp. "You have to let us in," one of them hissed. "We can't come in unless you say yes." The repeated phrase made Brian's stomach twist. He knew he had to get out of there. Heart racing, he turned the key in the ignition and started his car. The boys' faces twisted in anger, their black eyes reflecting the dim glow of the theater lights. He hit the gas and sped out of the parking lot, glancing into his rearview mirror. For one horrifying moment, he saw them standing exactly where he had left them, motionless, staring after him. Then, just a second later, they were gone, disappeared into thin air. When Brian finally made it home, his hands were trembling so badly he could barely get his keys into the door. That night, he sat awake for hours, replaying the encounter in his mind. He couldn't shake the memory of those eyes black, empty, and soulless. He later shared his story and soon discovered that he was not the only one. Across America, countless others had reported encounters with similar children, always at night, always asking for permission to come inside, and always with those same pitch-black eyes. To this day, no one knows what the Black-Eyed Children truly are. Some believe they are spirits, others say they are demons, or even extraterrestrial beings wearing human disguises. But one thing is certain, everyone who has met them feels the same unnatural fear, the same primal instinct to escape. Brian's chilling encounter in Abilene remains one of the most famous cases and a terrifying reminder that sometimes evil doesn't force its way into our lives. Sometimes it waits patiently and all it needs is for you to say yes. Thanks for watching. What do you think about this case? Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and leave a like. I'll see you next time